on, guys? So before we get started, I just want to give a special shout out to Adam Ramirez for telling me about this product. So what we're going to be looking at here obviously is the White Madness Garage shifter shaft conversion kit for the S550 Mustangs. One thing I really like about this kit is that you can get it in a variety of different colors to match the color scheme of your car. Mine is Oxford white, but they have Wimbledon white, competition orange, and a whole range of other colors. I chose to go with a black just because I wanted it to blend in more seamlessly with the interior of my car. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the installation and my final review of this product. Alright, so here we are with the package. It took about 4 days to arrive. It ships from Brooklyn, New York. So let's go ahead and open it, see what we think. Alright, so they have some nice foam covering it. This is the kit right here, as you can see. So this was sitting on top of it like that. So pretty good job of packaging it. And there's nice weight to this thing. Wow. That's one of the things I was wondering about, is how it felt, but it's pretty sturdy. You can can definitely tell. Feels quality. And then we have our two little screws in here that we're going to use to put it on in. I think that's it. So it's not too much to this kit. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy installed. Alright guys, so for this install you're just going to need two things, and that's a towel and a Phillips head screwdriver. So we have both of those ready to go, so we can go ahead and proceed to the next step. Alright, so now we're going to move this to the side for a second, and we're going to go ahead and set the parking brake, and this is going to be left up through the entire process here. And then we're going to go ahead, start the car up, put it in drive, and then turn the ignition off. Alright, now the first thing we want to do is go ahead and remove this little plastic piece that sits inside here. And it just lifts right up, so you can pull that up, get that out of the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, and let me see if I can get a better angle for you guys real quick. We're going to be removing this chrome bezel piece, and to do that we're just going to lift up from behind it. But when you lift up, you want to be careful because there is a socket back there, so you don't want to break that. So we're going to go ahead and do that as gently as possible, trying not to destroy anything here in the process. So let's go ahead and do that. And keeping in mind that my foot is still on the brake pedal because you don't want the car moving anywhere. Like I said, it is in drive mode right now with the emergency brake up, but your foot's going to stay on the brake through this entire process. So the front of this came up pretty easy, but it's going to take some force to get it all the way out. So there we go. And alright, so now we have this piece, the chrome bezel piece came off, so we can set that to the side. And this here, let me just get a better position for you guys. This is the socket right here that we're talking about that you don't want to break. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect that. Alright, so we have that disconnected now. And let me try to get an angle in here so that you guys can see what you're working with. This is the clip right here that you're going to have to disconnect, and to do it you have to push in on this little tab piece right there, as you can see, and then it just slides right out. So make sure that you don't force it when you're trying to get it out of there, because you don't want to break that. Alright, so now what we're working with are two screws that are going to be located here and here. And we're going to go ahead and take those out. And this is on the front side, so these screws are facing the console. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. And let me just slide it back into sport mode so I have a little bit more room to work with. And when you're removing these screws, you want to be extremely careful that you don't lose them. You don't want them to drop, because there is a pretty big hole down there. So if you drop one, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to get it out. And the screws are relatively short, as you can see. So let me see if I can just get that in camera range there for you. So they're not real long screws, they're pretty short. The top one came out pretty easy. Now we'll see if we can get the bottom one out. And because they're so short, I would recommend probably starting off with a screwdriver just to get them loose, and then switching over to your hand so that you can feel when it comes out. That'll make it a little bit easier. All right, so now we have the entire shifter pulled off. So we're gonna go ahead and slide that off. And as you can see, the shifter comes right out of there. So we'll set that to the side and proceed to the next step. And the only hardware that comes with this kit is just this piece here, and this is going to be used to go inside the boot. So there's 2 screws and there's this little plastic piece here. So we'll go ahead and get this taken out. All right, so now when we get to this step, you're going to make sure that you want to pay attention to the orientation of this, because the shifter, it screws towards the front like I showed you before. The screws are facing the console. So you can go ahead and push the leather piece in on the boot, and then flip it this way. And then you'll see where this plastic piece that came with the shifter conversion kit comes in, and then this is just going to slide into place like that. All right, so now we have the new shifter shaft here, and this is the step where they recommend that you have a paper towel. So you can either use some painter's tape, or you can just, use a towel so that you don't damage anything during this process. For me, I'm just going to basically hold it with the towel so that I'm not damaging it. All right, so now what we're going to do is just take the shaft and go ahead and push it in to the little plastic piece here, making sure that the holes are lined up. All right, so now that we have our holes lined up, we're just going to go ahead and slide this back down, and then we're going to use our new screws to go ahead and screw this into place. And the last thing we want to do is make sure that we remember to go ahead and plug this this connector back in before clamping everything all the way down. So let's go ahead and slide this on. Start screwing this in. Now this will probably be a lot easier with the stubby Phillips head screwdriver if you have one. I currently don't, so I'm gonna have to try to use my finger to get it started as much as possible. But from here, I think I found the right location of the hole, so I'll go ahead and start tightening it down. All right, so we have the bottom screw started. Now we're going to switch to the top screw, get that one started. I didn't tighten the bottom one down all the way yet because I want to make sure that the top screw is lined up properly. All right, so now I have both screws in the proper location, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down now. All right, so from the inside, the final product should look like this. You can see the 2 screws in there. Now we just need to reconnect this connector, and we're pretty much set. So now we can go ahead and push this boot down, line it up, push it into place, and then we can reattach our chrome bezel piece here. Put our plastic piece back in, and that's it, we're done. All right, so the way this shifter works is you just put your fingers under here and push down to move gears. So now it's in reverse, as you can see. You can go to neutral, drive, sport. To get from sport to drive, you can just push straight up. You don't have to actually engage it. That's the same way that the regular shifter works, but as you can see, once it's in drive, it's not going anywhere. Once it's in neutral, you can switch it to drive without having to move anything. And reverse, you can go reverse to neutral to drive. Once it's in drive, it's locked. So it functions just like the stock shifter, but it just looks a whole lot better. All right, so I'm pleasantly surprised with the build quality. It's a lot more sturdy than I thought it was going to be. Some good weight to it. Doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything on you. The installation was pretty straightforward. I mean, the most difficult part is just getting those 2 little screws back in there, but if you use a stubby head screwdriver, it'll make life a lot easier for you. Overall, I think White Madness Garage did an amazing job, so props to those guys. I would like to see some other color options, maybe a carbon fiber, maybe, some engravings with some different designs up here. would be nice, but we'll see what the future holds for them. So, you know, check them out. If you have an automatic, give this a look. It may be something you want to do. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.